Today I'll show you a dark fantasy science fiction film, branded. Spoiler ahead, watch out and take care. Misha is a Russian child, waiting in one of those long, winding lines. When he heard his number and ran up the line, he got struck by frigging lightning. One woman went over to check on him, who was frazzled but otherwise unharmed. She asked Misha if he was alright, and when he replied, she told him that he is going to have an abnormal life. Many years later, Misha has grown into a successful marketing genius. At a prize presentation ceremony, he meets sexy Abby, the niece of his American boss Bob. Misha has been seeking a partnership in the agency of the manipulative Bob, but to no avail. What is more, Bob warns him not to mingle with his beautiful niece. Meanwhile, a legendary old marketing guru in Polynesia meets the heads of the world's fast food chains. He plots a scheme to help conquer Russia with a fast food chain, the Burger. Despite Bob's stern warning, Misha does not alienate himself from Abby. The pair often meet up, and Abby shares that she wants to become a producer after doing her internship. Misha encourages her to pursue her dreams, and adds that he is experienced in marketing films. His current project on a horror movie is a sweeping success. Even with his brilliant performance, Bob has no intention of promoting him as a partner. This reminds Misha of his encounter with Bob years ago. Back then, Misha just graduated from college and became a salesman at a convenience store. He boosts sales of the store by his excellent marketing strategies. But he did not get his credit and was sacked by the store owner. From then onwards, he made the customer pay before receiving any of his advice. After losing his job, Misha operated an advertising startup on his own and loaned a big sum from his friend. The friend demanded him to pay back the money in a week's time. When Misha saw no way out of the predicament, Bob came to him and offered to clear his debts. At first, Misha suspected Bob to be some American spy. But he was moved by Bob's business ambitions. Soon after, Russia is filled with advertisements designed by Misha. On top of that, for every discussion held with the client, Misha needs to make a voice recording and submit it to Bob. In other words, he works as a marketing executive and a part-time spy for Bob's spy operation. Back to the present times, Misha advises Abby to make her own production, but Abby says she is too poor to do it. Having fallen for Abby, Misha offers to run a reality show together with her. Over time, Misha also catches the eyes of Abby, and she aspires to make him a partner in work and hormones. So their close friendship quickly grows into a full-blown hormone ship. One day, Misha and Abby are getting down and dirty in the middle of stagnant traffic. Unexpectedly, Bob is also stuck in traffic and finds them playing a 69 hormone game in the very car next to him. Needless to say, Misha gets punched by Bob right away. Afterward, Misha and his team go through the process of picking the most lovely greasy lady to play guinea pig for their reality show. The first few episodes have had high ratings. But later, Greasy decides to back out of the show one day prior to the plastic surgery. Abby feels sorry for Greasy, but Misha reassures Abby that everything will be okay. So they proceed with the plastic surgery as planned. Unfortunately, the day of her surgery comes, and after it is complete, the newly skinny woman does not wake up, but falls into a coma. Now Guru rolls out his action plans to give Misha's business a harsh blow, and defames the couple in secret. He first releases the video of Greasy begging Misha to let her withdraw from the show. Once the video is made public, the nation is outraged by Misha and Abby's promotion of beauty as skinny. Since Greasy remains unconscious, Misha's office building is raided by protesters. As soon as Misha leaves his office, he is attacked by the protesters and end up being detained in the police station. Abby is also arrested later. Guru continues to leverage on the population's anger towards the issue and gets Misha jailed for swindling. Having his sentence served and his reputation tarnished, Misha contacts Abby. To his shock, Abby is forced to leave Russia and she has returned to America. The couple do not have a good chat over the phone due to the poor reception. Misha makes up his mind to investigate the matter, and he first visits Bob, whom he believes to take great advantage of his fall. However, Bob claims that he is not powerful enough to stage such sabotage. So Misha sits down with Bob for a heartfelt talk. He wants to understand why Bob hired him in the first place. During the conversation, Misha reveals to Bob that he fabricated the report at his first spy task. Knowing that Misha cheated him, Bob's blood gets boiling, and he dies of a heart attack on the spot. Struck by Bob's death, Misha breaks down, and is led to think his talent of marketing is nothing but evil. So he decides to quit marketing and leave Moscow. On the other hand, his enemy Guru has risen to the top of the marketing world. 6 years later, Abby returns to Russia, and tracks down Misha. She finally meets her lover in a remote village. During the time of their separation, Misha has become a shepherd, forsaking all modern conveniences. Abby is upset that Misha gave up his ambitions and chose to backslide. But Misha does not take her advice. On that night, Misha has a strange dream and is shown what he must do. Misha clearly remembers the instructions and carries them out after he bids farewell to Abby. At dusk, Misha brings a red heifer into a sacrificial pyre he has built and slaughters the heifer. And then he sets the entire pyre in fire and watches it burnt to ashes. When the day dawns, Misha puts some of the ashes into a vessel and bathes with it facing the sun. Soon after all is done, Misha faints away and gets picked up by Abby. Misha wakes up in the back of Abby's car during their ride to Moscow. He sees a hideous and amorphous creature attached to Abby. However, Abby is not aware of its existence. To his surprise, greasy is now the new fashion in Moscow, where obese figures dominate the advertisements. At Abby's house, Misha meets his adolescent son for the first time. It is no coincidence that the boy also has a monster behind his back. All family joy aside, Misha cannot pretend that these creatures do not exist. He repeatedly tells Abby the monsters are real, but she is not feeling any of it. Misha begins to do his own research and finds the record of the red heifer ritual online. Slowly he discovers that the beast attached to his son is feeding on the boy's desire for food, and each of them stands for a kind of junk food. Apart from the monsters, it seems that the family of 3 are living their lives happily. Abby has inherited a huge sum of money from her uncle Bob, and Misha is getting along well with his son. Still, he could see the monster behind his son all the time, and the beast keeps changing its shape. One day, while Abby and their son are not in the house, Misha destroys all the food he could find from the fridge and on the dining table. Unexpectedly, Abby and the son return early to see him making such a scene. Misha explains that fast food causes him to see strange things. The bigger a person's desire, the bigger the monster. Misha can tell that people around him have become desperate for the things they do not need. Their consuming behavior is shaped by branding and marketing strategies. Abby does not buy his smelly shit, and she suggests he should get some psychology therapy. Soon after, news has reported that an unknown disease with a high fatality rate is spreading. At the same time, Misha sees more and more organic forms, attaching people like Billow and computer-generated cancers to their human hosts. Struggling in his confusion and shock, Misha has pushed away Abby, who wants to help him. Abby stands up and leaves Misha in disappointment. When Misha returns home, Abby and their son have left the house. Another bad news arrives, as the virus is said to be spreading fast. From his balcony, Misha looks at parasitical balloon animals that represent evil forces of consumerism floating above the city. On the second day, Misha attends a job interview at a Chinese vegetarian restaurant and spots an ugly branding creature behind the boss. Having shared his insights of the business prospects based on market analysis, he offers the board of directors a bold strategy for success. Strangely, his presentation style is identical to that of the gurus when he was persuading the burger CEO. When the upper management approves his plan, Misha requests them to build a beef testing kit and shows them a design of it. In an advertisement, the testing kit is used to detect the mad cow disease virus. As such, the anti-beef fear is planted in the consumers. Though the campaign proves successful, the government bans it. Sales plunged to a record low last month as advertising is banned. So the directors are anxious, but Misha says this is expected, and he advises the director to quickly franchise across the country and invest more in promoting the brand. This time round, luck is on Misha's side. The government official who hinders them passes away, and vegetarianism emerges as a new trend. Even the burger addicts fall for their food. Moreover, Misha observes that there is an egg floating on top of their restaurant, and it is going to hatch soon. Finally, a beast is hatched and flies around the city. To Misha's amazement, the vegetarian beast goes around to attack and liquidate other creatures. Having achieved his agenda, Misha cannot wait to share his success with Abby. But he only reaches her voicemail box. Guru confesses to the clients that he can do nothing about the current drawback. Upon finishing his statement, he is struck by lightning and disappears. Even though Abby learns from the news that Misha defeats the enemy, she does not go back to him. Misha is back to his busy days under the gun of focus groups and market tests. He is capable of selling all kinds of brands, no matter what products they are. Within a year, the world's economy is thrown into turmoil, and brands are attacking each other to gain popularity. This then leads to a war of branding beasts. As a result, public opinion turns against branding and advertising. When Abby is dating someone else, she sees the news about Misha. He is beaten up by the rioters, but luckily the injury is not serious. Misha knows that the consumers are not happy with his strategy. As soon as Misha wants to give up, Abby visits him and patches back with him. However, the riots are inevitable, and Misha ends up a hit on the head and falls into a coma. Afterward, the president announces an end to excessive advertising and orders to remove billboards from the streets. In the final scene, Greasy finally awakens from her coma to find the Moscow skyline clear of billboards. Meanwhile, Misha is recovering bit by bit with the love and concern of his family. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Peace out.